Good morning, everyone. This is Shirley, Shirley's World. Trying to get this, my little tripod here. Hi. I already made breakfast. I just thought I'd sit and talk with you while I have my breakfast. This morning I have, you can see, I have some waffles and ham. And of course my dogs. Waffles and ham and some fruit with yogurt on it, some orange juice and coffee. So I thought I'd sit and talk to you while I have my breakfast this morning instead of be busy getting it while I'm trying to see the screen. A little bit later, in fact within the hour, I'm going to be preparing something to put in the crock pot. Hi Muzzy, I saw a recipe. I think it was either online, I think it was on Pinterest, I don't know. I get a lot of my recipes on Pinterest. Do you too? I put my mic on and didn't plug it in, so maybe, I don't know. You can probably hear me good without my mic on. I'm right close here. I'm not moving around, so I'm going to make Parmesan chicken, and I'm going to make it in the crock pot, but there's some preparation to it before you put it in the crock pot. So I'm going to be doing that in about probably an hour, within 2 hours, because 9, 10, I think I have to have it in by 11, cooking by 11 so we can eat, because I always cook it on slow, so it needs, I don't know how long it needs to be cooked, but I think usually it's 6 to 8 hours on low, so I have to get it in between 10 and 11 anyway. So I thought I'd make that while I was scoping instead of breakfast, so I just thought I'd sit here and talk with the dogs breathing on my arm. They're always by the food, that's for sure. So if you don't mind, I'm going to take some, drink some of my orange juice and eat breakfast while I'm talking to you. Who's all here with me? Let's have a morning conversation. I have, hi, this is Spirit. This is Spirit, my female. I have English pointers. They're rescue dogs. And the one down there is, you see him? That's Dexter. I've had this, hi Mama Dula. I'm glad you joined me. I'm just having breakfast and thought I'd just sit here and talk to people. Welcome, welcome. Hi. I'm having waffles and ham and some fruit and yogurt over it, orange juice and coffee. So I thought I'd sit and talk and instead of be running around the kitchen. Yeah. Here, let me show it to you. You weren't on when I showed it. Here is my breakfast. So I was saying a little bit later, like in about an hour, within an hour or two, I'm going to be preparing chicken parmesan to put in the crock pot. I got a recipe, I think it was on Pinterest. I'm not sure, someplace online. And I thought I'd try it. I've never tried that before. So, and what's everybody going to do today? What do you have planned? My plan is waiting for the Culligan man to come and fix my water softener. Besides the cooking, that's my big plan. Waiting for Culligan. So, excuse me for chewing, but I'm eating breakfast. I'll work. You're a nurse, right? Are you a nurse? and pick up the kids. You have young kids? Are you a maternity nurse? Are you an obstetrics nurse? Nursing professor, okay. My sister and I are both nurses. And she worked in maternity the first part of her career, and then she worked in rehab. And I worked in several places, always in a hospital. The last 20 years I worked in the emergency room. And, yeah. My sister loved maternity, but I don't know why she didn't, after her kids got older, she went back started back to work again, and she went into rehab. I'm not sure why she didn't go back into maternity. I have loads of stories. In fact, I was talking to somebody online that's also a nurse and she's a nurse in the ER too. I said we should tell stories. I have some unbelievable stories. And it's been a long, long time, so I don't think these people would be either watching a Periscope or maybe they're not even alive anymore. But yes, I have some horrendous stories that are kind of weird, and I have some really funny stories. So maybe I should do that once a week, have a stories from the ER. Nursing stories from the ER. Yes. Maybe I'll do that. I started writing on my... could teach. I don't know. I'm not a really good teacher, but I could... I think I could tell some great stories. I started writing them on my blog. I have a blog called Shirley's World. It's shirleysworld.blogspot.com is the address. And I started writing stories from when I first graduated, which was way back from nursing school, which was way back in 1963. So that's how old I am. I'm 70. I'm 73 now. And I retired early. I retired in my late 40s. So I sort of got burned out in the ER after a while. And my husband was sometimes young, sometimes not so young. My husband was a policeman, and he retired. He retired early he was a captain as a policeman, but he went right back into it and became the warden of the jail in the city that we lived in then. So he was still in that area. But he retired as a cop, and I was an ER nurse, so it was sort of a match. In fact, he was my second husband, and that's where I met him, was through friends in the emergency room. Because, cops always come into the ER with things. So, well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, I think I'm going to write something up and think about, maybe my sister and I get our heads together and write something up, maybe to do once a week on Periscope about nursing. Well, thank you. I don't think I have too many followers, but the followers I have always come back and are with me. I have some chicken followers and some just followers for cooking. And, yeah, I think I'll do that. I bet you have great stories, too. Before you were a professor, did you work in a hospital? Or did you go right into teaching? I graduated from Huron Road Hospital in Cleveland, Ohio. Community nursing. Yeah. Huron Road Hospital was the oldest nursing school east of the Mississippi, and had a great history, but just recently it closed its doors, which was sad. But yeah, I was in nursing and got an associate degree at it was called Fenn College at that time, but now it's Ohio Cleveland State in Cleveland. I know, it was a great old hospital. I suppose it would have taken a lot of money. You like the community nursing? Is that, you mean like visiting nursing? My best friend, oh, you don't like the hospital? My best friend, who was in the ER with me, but then she started the visiting nursing. She liked that. Oh, you used to be a paramedic. I have my writing teacher at the barn. Her husband was a paramedic, and then he got his nursing degree, so he went the other way. He was a paramedic. You were a paramedic and went into nursing. Yeah, you got burned out with that. Yeah, all the gore. Yeah, that's the ER too. I don't know. I was able to put I think all nurses can. You sort of you become sort of looking down on it and not become involved. More empathy than sympathy, of course, you have to have. But I can sort of dismiss myself out of the situation and do what I have to do. And sometimes that carried over to when my husband got really sick. Yeah, too many sad situations, but then that's when I went into my nursing mode, and I sort of didn't let it get in my head. But unfortunately, that carried over for when my husband got sick. He got leukemia, and they gave him 5 years. He only lasted 3, and was with hospice here at home and me. And I sort of had to dismiss myself from that too, which was probably not great for him. I feel sorry for that. Hi, Heron. Thanks for joining. I'm sitting here having breakfast and talking. You're a hospice nurse now. Oh, okay. Yes, I'm well acquainted with hospice with both my husband and then with my mother. She had liver cancer. Up in Erie, Pennsylvania. That's where my sister lives. And I went up there and stayed the last couple months of her life. And she wanted to stay home. So we had hospice, and she had us, 2 nurses. Hi, Aaron. You've been working. Are you... Aaron, you're the other nurse. Are you the other nurse that I've been talking to? There's another nurse, and you know I'm horrible with names. I know Mama Doula because of the doula part. She's a nurse. You work as a nurse, Aaron? We were talking. I think that if you are, yes, you're the ER nurse. Okay. Yeah, I was just talking to the other lady on here who's also a nursing professor about stories, that we should put our stories on, ER stories on Scope. I'm thinking we should do that. My sister's here visiting me now. She's a nurse also. That she was in rehab, and the first part of her career she was a maternity nurse. Yes, we could write a book. Like I told you, I started writing on my blog about it, and I have to continue that. And also, I think I'm going to, I was telling the the professor here, I was telling her that maybe once a week I should have a nursing scope. Stories from the ER. What do you think? I think we should do that. I'm going to write up some things, things I remember. Especially since Halloween's coming. I have 2 tremendous stories which aren't really good endings, but 2 stories that are unbelievable about Halloween. And like I had told Heron, there were 2 murders in my ER while I was there. Yeah, you'll be here whenever you're not working. Okay, let's do that. I know everybody, both of you would understand these stories and not think that they're too gross. I have to sort of make them, edit them for scope. Although I don't think anybody edits anything for scoping. But I'll try to edit the gore out a little bit. Excuse me for chewing. I'm eating my breakfast. With my dogs, as you can see, my dogs are right here. They don't leave my side. I know, the nurses would all tune in. They wouldn't mind at all. Right now, I'm actually operating on my chicken's foot. You know, one of my chickens has bumblefoot. It's like an abscess. The first one that got it, I took to the vet up the road. And she showed me how to take care of it. You have to lance it and get that core out. So that's what I've been doing the last couple days. But it's been easier now that my sister's here because she's like my assistant. It's so hard to hold a chicken. You have to put them in your lap, turn them upside down, cover their heads so they're quiet. And then you have to sort of operate on their foot. She at least could hand me things. You know, it's hard to do all that, hold the chicken, and get the tools you need. And so, yes, I've been doing that every day, operating on my chicken's foot. I soak it in Epsom salts and then make sure it keeps open and draining till I have this antibiotic paste stuff I have to squirt in there. So I hope I haven't scoped the actual procedure. I know on YouTube, that's where I actually learned to do it, besides my vet. It is challenging with a chicken, because you can't sedate chickens. You can't even give them anything that have any of the canes, like lidocaine or anything. You can't, that's fatal for chickens, believe it or not. So you can't use anything like that, but I don't know, they tolerate pain pretty well. And this has got to hurt, you know. Just think of getting in an abscess and getting that core out. It's got to hurt. Poor little thing. And it's Eggo, my Easter egger. So she has to get well because she's the one that lays the green and blue eggs. But my other one that we did, it turned out good and she's fine now. They get it's like they get a cut on their foot or a splinter or something and it builds up into an abscess. And you soak it in Epsom salts. Yes, she walks, and she has a big bandage on. You know, after I soak it, it's right down here on her claws, you know. And I have to soak it in Epsom salts after I fuss with it, and put the medicine in it, and you know, it's all washed with betadine, of course, and then I have to put a bandage on, and I wrap the bandage in amongst her toes with vet wrap. I cut it in strips, vet wrap, which I have plenty of because I have horses. And sort of like soaking your horse's hoof when it gets an abscess. Sometimes they get abscesses. Uh, yeah, she tries to peck at the wrap, but vet wrap sticks really good. And the more they walk on it, the more it stays together. It sort of melds together. So after about an hour, if she hasn't gotten it loose by then, it stays on, really well. Like this morning, I did this. I do it about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and this morning, the vet wrap gets so melded together that you sometimes have to actually cut it off with the scissors. But yeah, it's holding the chicken and having her not try to get away is the biggest part of it. But I'm sure it's all part of chicken care. I had nothing go happen the first 2 years I've had chickens, and then this summer 2 of my chickens got this bumblefoot, which like this abscess thing. You have to take care of it because if the infection can actually go up the leg, and like anything, become very severe to their health. So you have to take care of it. Very few vets take care of chickens. So, okay, Mama Doula, I'll see you again. I'm going to do that crock pot thing in a couple hours. So, yeah, very few vets take care of chickens. You have to. Luckily, mine is a farm animal and small animal vet. I mean, she takes care of all my animals, my dogs, when I had a cat in the house, and she takes care of my horses out at the barn, the other barn. So she will. I don't think she does many chickens. I may be, I may be her only or maybe her second only. I know she did surgery on a chicken once. She told me about. But she knows, I mean, she's been around farm animals. She knows what she's doing, so. Most chicken people that have chickens, they take care of their own chickens when something goes wrong, so. My biggest fear with chickens is that one would become egg-bound, where the egg sort of gets stuck and it can't come out. That's my biggest fear, because you have to. That's an emergency, and you have to really take care of it. I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want it to happen. But if it does happen, I'll be sure to scope about it, because I do scope a lot about my chickens. But anybody else here with any questions? Nursing questions now? Aging questions? I think I'm the oldest one scoping on Periscope. And let's see. And of course, chickens. I've rescued dogs. I rescue for the Pointer Rescue Organization. I've had labs and I've had St. Bernards. It is the same as Coban we use in the hospital. Coban. Oh, the vet wrap. Yeah, it sticks to itself. It's sort of stretchy. I don't know that name, Coban. But it's sort of stretchy, and it sort of sticks to itself. And comes in rolls. The vet wrap is I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, vet wrap is cheap. You can get it all different colors at Tractor Supply. And I've used it multiple times on my horses for different things. But it's very convenient to use. Yeah. They're waiting for my leftover breakfast here. Yeah, I just sent It should come today, in fact. I just sent for a pair of hemostats, straight and curved, because of this chicken's foot. I only had a pair of little tweezers, which wasn't working well. I needed the hemostats. I will be gone next week, though. You're taking a 7-day. Oh, that's right, to Scotland. Oh, wow. Do you have a blog or Instagram or anything where you're going to put some pictures on? I would love to go to Scotland and England, of course. You interrupted. What was I saying? That's a part of getting old, okay? Sometimes I interrupt people when I have a thought, because if I don't say it right when it's in my head, it's like gone. What was I saying? You have a clue? And we're talking about bet wrap. I don't know. Yeah, that's one of the really frustrating things. Now, like I told you about the words. It just goes out of your head. I don't know where it goes, but it'll come back in about an hour. I had, before English Pointers, I had labs all my life. And I had one St. Bernard that I rescued, an old St. Bernard. I only had him 3 years, but he was just a beautiful, gentle soul. But like I probably said before that you heard, I shouldn't get a dog that outweighs me. It makes things really hard. Oh, Instagram. Helen H for Aaron. RN. Okay. I wish I had a pen on me. Helen H. RN. Helen H. RN. Okay. Yeah, send or put pictures on. I would love to go to England since I'm English. My maiden name was Wickersham. Helen. Okay. Mine's Shirley, of course, you probably know that. Shirley Corwin, but my maiden name was Wickersham, and it's pretty English, I think. So, I always wanted to visit England, but I won't fly anymore, so I don't think that'll ever happen. You know what I would love to do? This is really silly. I was trying to learn to talk with an English accent. Oh, you were born in Scotland. Do you have an accent? I was just talking about accents. Or did you come as a baby? My mother is the only one from her family here. Oh, wow. You have lots of family over there. Your mother has an accent? Yeah, I love that. I wanted to learn an English accent, like a London accent, but it's hard to learn. I mean, actors learn it. How do they do it? I went on YouTube. They actually, you can learn anything on YouTube, whether it's right or wrong. So there's several places where you can. How were you learning? I went on YouTube, and there's different people teaching about the different rules in the to learn an English or British accent. And I was trying to do it, and I would try to do it around the house, but I was afraid to do it out amongst people for fear you know, it would sound really dumb, or they'd laugh at me, or, you know, all those fears. Dumb. I shouldn't have any fears at 73, right? Mostly I don't. I just do what I do, and that's it. Well, I think I'm going to finish my breakfast. Right, no fear. The only fear I get is, the only fear I have is getting old. Not getting old, but I want to get old, of course. I don't want to, you know, be sick and be old. So far, I've been really lucky. I only had one bout of being sick. Turned out to be, I had a partial bowel obstruction. I'm sure everybody wants to hear about that, and had surgery. And then now I'm okay. And I've, you know, the normal back problems and all that. But anyway, that's what my other blog called It's Always Something is about. Not just about being sick, of course. It's mostly funny things and just dumb things that happen, and things about aging. That's my other blog. You can get to that blog through my main blog, Shirley's World. But so I do a lot on the computer. That's why I'm probably the only 73-year-old on here, because I've had a computer before Macs ever came to be. I had my first computer, I think, was an Atari, if you can remember that. You're probably too young to remember an Atari. And then I went to the Macs. When they first came out, I had the very first tiny little Mac. Its screen was like a 9-inch screen. And it was black and white. There you go. And I've had multiple Macs as they came up. You know, you do. Well, yeah, but that's young to me. When I was 51 is when I moved to the country. I had loads of energy then. I put in huge perennial gardens at that age. I mean, that took a lot of work. I must have had a lot of energy, a lot more than I have now. But my husband was alive, but he wasn't he wasn't a gardener. I was the gardener. And he wasn't really a handyman. Cops and firemen, I think. Cops and firemen, they always know people. Well, I try to keep active, because if I just sit, if I have a day where I'm just sitting around, I feel horrible. I have to be up and moving, or my back just kills me. My husband wasn't one to do things around the house. He always hired, you know, they delegate. He was a great delegator. In the 30s, it couldn't. Oh, well, I don't think that's that they can't. It's just I think they're maybe a little lazy. Yes, I found that out in working as a nurse. You know, there are people that are 60 that are super young, and then there are people come in that are 60 that you would swear they're 90, you know. It just, I guess it depends on how they live their life, you know, their food, their genetics, I think has a lot to do with it. My parents both, my father lived till his mid-80s, and my mother lived till she was 92, so. Yeah. And she got liver cancer, so. Good morning, Nature Girl. Yeah. I'm just sitting here having breakfast and having some neat conversations. What are you doing today? Oh, dear. My young, she's not young, she's 6. My female pointer. This is ever since, oh, it's okay. Ever since I had my female pointer, I just got her, I haven't had her a year yet. She has something wrong with her throat. I'm hoping it's not tracheal paralysis, which is, I had a lab with that, had to have surgery. But she coughs a lot, and she stretches her neck a lot, so I'm not quite sure. She'd have to have a scope to find out for sure what's wrong with her. And she has a sad story, poor little girl. She was just tossed out after used for breeding by probably hunters. Used for breeding. She had multiple litters, you can tell. Ouch. You're not going to get up here and eat my breakfast, so you can just get down. And she had mammary tumors when they found her. They found her almost starved to death. But she's come back. As you see, she's quite hefty. In fact, she's a little too hefty for a pointer. Pointers are very thin dogs because they run all the time. Yes, she does. She has a loving, permanent home. She'll never have to go anywhere anymore. No. So, the Pointer Rescue Organization is a great organization because pointers, English pointers and German short-hair pointers, I suppose, they're, if they don't hunt, they're regarded as useless, especially down south and out west. So, a lot of dogs are just tossed out if they don't hunt, or if they're gun shy, or whatever, if they're not good hunters. And if they're found and taken in, the Pointer Rescue Organization, which is pretty big, they take them in, they pay for everything to have, there's fosters all over the United States, which I'm one here in Northeast Ohio, and the dogs are taken into the foster homes, brought back to health, and then they're adopted out. And they make sure that they have good families. The problem with, I fostered, the trouble is when I foster, I fall in love with the fosters and I just can't give them up. So I'm not a good foster as far as getting dogs, through. The thing is to foster them, move them on, get other fosters, move them on. That's the whole idea of it. But mine gets stuck here. But they do. They have the best home that they could ever have. They have an acre to run on. I have an invisible fence so they don't have to ever be tied. They're high-energy dogs outside, or when they're hunting, yes. Inside, they're couch potatoes. That's what people don't understand about pointers. They think that they're crazy dogs, and they run and race around in the house, too, and that's not true. In the house, they live on the couch. They're very docile, they're very friendly, and they love their owners. So, even if Dexter was raised in a kennel, had never been in a house before he came here. Yeah, they're great dogs. Great dogs. And my first pointer, the one that got me started with this breed, was my husband got from a breeder. This is before we did fostering. I got him as 6 weeks old. Yes, she's still with him. She's not up yet. She doesn't get up till 10. She's a late sleeper. She reads at night. She may go up to bed when I do, but she reads sometimes till 3 in the morning. So she gets up much later than me. I'm up at 7. So, yes. So they're great dogs, and I would recommend them to anybody. Some are more energetic than others, and you just have to, if you want one that's not quite have to go on, you know. If you don't live in the country, they need to be walked, that's for sure, because if they don't have a place to run, they need to run outside. Mine run. They run, they try to keep every bird out of my yard, which of course they can't because I have woods all around me, or trees. But they're always stalking things. The only things that they've ever brought to or ran around with them in their mouth, the cats have gotten. You know, I have 2 barn cats. They get sometimes a chipmunk, and they'll get voles or a mouse. But usually they don't eat them. Dexter does. Dexter's the hunter. The little Spirit, the female, she is not a hunter at all. She'll sit right next to the chickens. In fact, she got into their run one time. She was just interested in their food and the chicken poop, I have to say. But she was sitting in amongst the chickens, and those chickens know the difference between these 2 dogs. Dexter would take a chicken down in a minute, but which she did to one of my chickens. I had an Easter egger named Lily that's no more. She flew out of the run, and Dexter got her. But that would never happen with Spirit. Spirit's not interested in... Spirit just wants to be friends with everything and everybody. They're friends with my barn cats now. Dexter chased my barn cats at first, but now my barn cat decided that's enough, and she just sat her ground, and he ran up to her, and she didn't move, so he lost interest. He likes to, you know, if she'd run, he'd chase her, but he wouldn't, you know. He's not in it to hurt her. He just likes to chase things. Except birds, of course. They're bird dogs, so if they are the hunter bird dog, you can't get that out of them. That's what they do. And little Spirit, I guess that's why they made a breeding dog out of her, because she wouldn't hunt. But then when she, well, thank you. Then when they bred her out, I guess they just threw her out in the woods. You know, sometimes I say, I'm connected with a lot of rescues on Facebook, and I read some horrible stories, and I have to even just stop reading them. I get so upset. You know, sometimes I really think I like animals much more than most people. But that's because I hear so many bad stories through the rescues. So I think I'm going to finish my breakfast here, but like I said, I'm going to be back on in about an hour, and I'm going to do a crock pot recipe. I need to put something in the crock pot by 11, so chicken parmesan. Yes. Yes, about the animals and the people. Yeah, I know. I often say, you know, my sister's always saying, yeah, okay, bye-bye, Heron. My my daughter, who's also a big animal person. I did raise my 2 kids to be very animal protective people. My daughter always is saying, I hate people, because she reads about things with horses too, because she's really into the horses. But I'm going to finish up my fruit and stuff here for my breakfast, and I'm going to be on a little bit later. So thanks so much for joining me. It's a nice conversation, and I'll be on a little bit. Bye-bye.